Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Tamika. This is not Library of Tomes, but I was sure trying to say it was. Don't you wanna have fun? Fool around someone. This is Tamika's Library, where I talk to you about all the bookish things going on in my life. Hi, welcome back. I hope y'all are doing great. I wanted to do a fun video for you all today because we are doing the dark romance readathon again this weekend. So if y'all are new here and you don't know, me and some of my friends host a readathon called the Dark Romance Readathon, and we are doing a weekend edition, which the first one was also a weekend edition. We might do a full version soon, like a full week, but we'll see. Would it be? But yeah, here are some recommendations. Specifically, these are going to hit on prompts for the readathon, but in general, if you're watching this and you're not participating in the Dark Romance Readathon, these are still Dark Romance recommendations that you can check out. I will say the last one is not a recommendation that I've read. It's just a book that hits every single prompt, and it's a book I'm going to also be reading for the readathon. So let's hop on into it. Let's talk about some dark romance. All right, so let's start out with the most obvious one. Let's talk about First Comes Blood by Lilith Vincent. This is a dark reverse harem mafia series about a 17-year-old who is promised to a mafia man on her 17th birthday. These 4 mafia dudes come and try to essentially win the position of becoming her future husband, and they get to marry her on her 18th birthday. This book is dark. The series is dark. There's a lot in here, and if you want to jump into it, know going in there are 3 books. There's a cliffhanger on every single end of each book. I love this series. It's one of my absolute favorites in the entire world, and I'd never shut up about Lilith Vincent or these characters. So like, I just truly absolutely love this series, and I can't say enough nice things about it. It will hit a couple prompts for you. Last time we did this readathon, every single prompt. This one has criminal characters in it. It is Mafia, and it also is Touch Her and You Die. I do think there might be public sex in here, but it might be later on in the series. I'm not 100% sure because I can't really remember, but there's at least 3 prompts right there with that one. Let's also talk about Punk 57 by Penelope Douglas. This one I would categorize with possessive hero, and I know that might not, hit exactly, and people might disagree a little bit on this one. So we have Misha and Ryan, who are pen pals, and they don't really know each other's identity. This is 100% a bully romance. Like, he bullies her really, really badly, and they don't get along and they don't like each other, but he is also a hero that's just like, I'm gonna be mean to you, but if anyone else is mean to you, I'm going to slit their throat. He doesn't actually do that at any point, but he is so mean to her, but he's so protective at the same time. Like, if someone else tried to do anything to her, he would absolutely destroy them. Then we have Priest by Sierra Simone. This one falls a little bit more taboo, but I would also say this one has possessive hero kind of vibes. I do feel like our hero, Father Bell, is very possessive over our heroine. Not in a super, super possessive way. I would say this one's like a mild kind of possessive. So if you're kind of wanting to dip your toe into like a possessive hero, he's a little more mild. Like, he's a little more tame, but it still gets my brain, like it still hits that little pinpoint that I'm thinking about whenever I'm thinking of a possessive hero. Essentially, this one follows a priest who's a Catholic priest, and our heroine who ends up coming into the confessional and confessing all her sins, and he is absolutely so attracted to her, and he's breaking his rule of his vow of celibacy, and he is being with her intimately, and he's not supposed to, and it's them battling with their inner feelings on this and struggling because, in the Catholic faith, priests aren't allowed to have that intimate relationship, so it's them really struggling and trying to balance their religious beliefs with their emotional and romantic feelings. Let's talk about Desperate Measures by Katie Robert, which is one that I tend to talk about a lot, but this one I'm recommending for a very specific reason. This one is a consensual non-consent with a daddy kink, and God, y'all know, fucking love me some daddy kink. And this one specifically has a public sex scene that is just chef's kiss. This takes place in a BDSM club. Well, some of it does. This is a captor captive, Jasmine and Jafar retelling. And Katie Robert delivers on the smut. The spice is always off the charts. And I'm thinking if you want to squeeze in a lot in this readathon, this is a good way to go because this is a shorter book from Katie. This is one of the shorter books on the list as well. This one also has touch her and you die vibes and a possessive hero. Hook is just very, very possessive. Did I say Hook? I meant Jafar. Same thing, whatever. Jafar is very, very possessive. Then we have Hooked by Emily McIntyre. Again, this is a shorter one, but not super short. Definitely under 350 pages, and this one is so freaking good. This is a Peter Pan retelling where we have Captain Hook and Peter Pan, and Wendy is Peter's daughter. And essentially, Hook is trying to get back at Peter for something that he's done to his family, and he's trying to get revenge. And his idea of doing that and getting revenge on Peter is by taking his daughter and essentially corrupting her. So he takes her captive. She becomes his captive after he has, you know, courted her a little bit and essentially won enough of her trust over to get her interested in him and for her to really fight those urges of like, what the hell, this man just kidnapped me. And it's essentially kind of like, what the hell, this guy like kidnapped me, what's going on? And she's very easy to forgive him after that. I'm gonna tell you, this one hits a bunch of things because it is so good and it's so gripping. Essentially, we have touch her and you die vibes, 110%. This hero will rip your damn throat out for this girl. No question. No one else is allowed to look at her. No one else is allowed to touch her. No one else can be mean to her. Stay away if you do not want to get hurt. And it is just absolutely so possessive. So he is a possessive hero. He's a criminal hero. So it hits the criminal category. Touch her and you die. I would almost say a little bit of Mafia, not 100%, but like a touch. Like I feel like there's a touch of Mafia in there. So let's talk about The Never King, which is another Peter Pan retelling. Do you sense the theme there? I really freaking loved this book, and I have to say thank you, Megan, because you're the reason me and Izzy both read this book. So essentially, we're following the darling women who are taken by Peter Pan on their 18th birthday every single generation, and every year they come back and they're not the same. They absolutely go insane, and you don't really know what's going on and why exactly this is happening, but essentially the darling women are the reason that Peter Pan kind of has a curse put on him and he's lost his shadow. This is a portal fantasy because this does have the real world element, and then they are taken into another world, into a portal world. And yeah, it's essentially just that storyline, and this is a reverse harem and it is spicy. So let me just say, this one almost hits every single freaking prompt. Like literally almost every single one. Let me tell you what you can check off with just this one book. And it's short. It's under 200 pages. Me, Izzy, and May all gave this 5 stars. We love this. We have removal of a body part. This man ripped someone's heart out of their chest because they looked at his girl and she sat in his lap. Ripped his whole ass heart out of his chest. Okay. Criminal hero would say that they're criminals because they take the, you know, they do the captor captive thing with these women, and you know, they're just not nice guys. They're just not nice. They are criminals. We have touch her and you die, aka ripping the man's heart out of his chest. Possessive hero, I think that's very, very obvious in here with that. We have public sex because they do have sex in front of the others. And like they get off on that. You could argue that it is Mafia in a way, and it is just so freaking good. There is a way you can argue it's Mafia, but you have to read the book in order to like be able to know. I wouldn't fight you on it if you told me that this counted for every single prompt. I would not fight you on it. I'd be like, yeah, definitely, I see it, 100%. We have Whispers in the Dark, which is a book that I never shut up about, and it is a serial killer romance. So we have criminal characters. This is a captor captive. This is very, very dark. Essentially, I describe this as a horror book with an HEA. We have a serial killer, a captive captive, or a captor captive. We have trigger warnings for a miscarriage, assault, rape, sodomy, torture, body mutilation. We have a lot of triggers on this, but essentially we have a girl who is taken captive, and she ends up in a home with a serial killer who uses women and then kills them, and it's her story of escaping and then her romance with the son. And then the last book that you can read for this readathon is Dark Mafia Prince by Annika Martin. This literally hits every single prompt. We did in fact design the board around being able to hit every single prompt on this board. Literally, you can read this one book and you are going to get through everything in the dark romance readathon. You will hit bingo and you'll be able to have bragging rights. Because am I gonna hit bingo? Probably not. Do I know what I'm reading for the readathon yet? Absolutely not. Am I a freaking host? Obviously. Would it be a video and or a readathon that I participate in if I don't fuck it up? And if I don't do what I'm supposed to do? It wouldn't. Listen, I'm just doing what you all know that I'm gonna do. So that's all. Are you all excited for the readathon? Let me know down in the comments. Let me know if you're gonna read any of these books, and I'll see you in the next one. Leave me the fire emoji down in the comments and I will chat with you in the next one. Bye everyone.
Don't you wanna have fun? Don't you wanna have some fun? Yeah, his baby said that they don't got a future like